Hi everyone and welcome back. You probably think that your super is your money, all right? Well, I've got some news for you in this video. It's not. But that's what we were told, isn't it? We're told that it's our money. We're told that it's safe. We're told that it's for our retirement. The government obviously made it compulsory at some point so that we've got some money for when we stop working one day. What a great government, looking after us as we get older. See, super's paid to you by your employer. It's a part of your wage. It's part of your employment package or your salary package. It's not more of a cost to your employer than your salary is. Some people seem to think that, well, I don't really care. I don't pay super. My employer pays the super. If your employer didn't have to pay into your super, well, you could then get that money paid into your bank account right now to do with it what you like. And now, let me ask you, would you want your money in your account now if you were allowed, if the government actually allowed you? So I'm sure that many of you would, but you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. So you can lose your house, you can drain your savings, you can get kicked out onto the street, and you're still not really going to get it. And that's because it's not yours. So your employer is legally required to pay 10, 11, 12% of your income into a super fund, which you can't touch unless you're under some kind of extreme hardship. And even then, you have to have been on Centrelink for at least 6 months before you even consider this. And then the withdrawal's capped at 10 grand a year. What are we going to do with $10,000 in a year? It's enough to cover toilet paper for a family of 4. Wow. Because what? Sorry guys, and I'll say it again. It's not really yours. Not legally, not practically, and not structurally. In fact, your superannuation is the single biggest piggy bank that the Australian government actually has. This is documented and they use it. They use it every single day. They use it quietly. They use it without asking you. They don't really care, without you voting for it. None of that. And without most Australians even knowing what's happening in the first place. Your super is described as Australia's largest pool of capital. And before anyone says, well, that's why I self-manage, or go and get yourself a self-managed super fund, please stop. Self-managed funds are not exempt. Just watch. Because once you see how the system actually works, you'll understand how your future was actually taken away using your own money. Superannuation was sold to you as savings for your retirement. Your money, safe, it grows, and it's there and it's waiting for you. But this is the biggest uncomfortable truth. If something is truly yours, you don't need government permission to access it. You don't need a preservation age. You don't need to meet conditions of release. And Canberra doesn't need to move the goalposts whenever they want. See, super isn't a savings account for you. It's not designed to serve you. It's designed to serve the system. So your super fund doesn't sit there in cash. It doesn't sit there in an account, in a vault. It doesn't grow quietly in some safe little account with your name on it. Not at all. That's not how it works. Your super is immediately pumped into things like government bonds. And what does that do? That gives the government cash. It gives them liquidity. Bank bonds, which gives the banks cash, gives the banks liquidity. Major infrastructure projects. Look at my mate, the headmistress, Jacinta Allen. Victoria's close to $200 billion in debt here. We're pretty much cooked. In fact, we probably are. So instead of sacking the bureaucracy, what does she do? She applies political pressure on super funds and suggests that they put your money into their failed, blown-out projects. Did she ask you? No, absolutely not, because she doesn't have to. Or why doesn't she have to? Because it's not yours. They might say it is, but it's not. Your super fund is propping up the stock market as well. The stock market is one of the greatest Ponzi schemes of all time. It gets pumped with your super every single week. Your super was designed to prop up the institutions that are far bigger than you or I. Let me say it plainly. Your retirement money keeps this system alive. It keeps it going. Your money's used today while you're told to wait for 40 years or 50 years or whoever knows how long, and most of us just accept it. Some of us even go and pay in additional amounts every week. What we give isn't enough. We don't give the government enough taxes, and we don't give them enough in fines, so why don't we make some extra contributions to our super as well when we all retire in 300 years? See, let me show you more about how this piggy bank trick actually really works. Unbelievable. And this is when the naysayers start sweating. Australia owes hundreds of billions in national debt. Someone has to buy those IOUs. Foreign investors aren't buying enough. Local investors aren't buying enough. So who's going to foot the bill? Who's going to fill the gap? Your super fund, automatically, predictably. By government-approved mandate, your super buys government debt, which funds government spending, which pushes up inflation, which reduces the value of your money. That's what inflation does, including the super that bought the debt in the first place. And that's a punchline that nobody wants to actually admit. Your super funds inflation, and inflation eats away at your super. We're not a very intelligent group, unfortunately. People will say to me, Tim, that's how investing works. Well, no, unfortunately, no. Investing is when you choose where your money goes. You make that decision. Superannuation is when the government chooses where your money goes. And you're allowed to pick from, you might be allowed to pick from a list of preset boxes that all feed back into the same system. That's not investing, that's a managed holding pen. Why do you think the preservation age keeps rising? Why do you think early access is basically banned unless your life is completely and utterly falling apart? Why do you think super withdrawals are treated like a privilege? Because if they let Australians actually access their own super, the entire financial system's just going to collapse. It's going to snap right in half. It's not about your retirement. It's about maintaining liquidity, their liquidity, and keeping the piggy bank full. Others will say, but Tim, super grows over time. Yeah, well, so does an interest-only mortgage, as long as you ignore what's actually happening in behind the scenes. Your super might show a bigger number on paper over time, but what about the purchasing power? It drops every single year. What's the point of having $700,000 at your retirement if it buys what $200,000 used to buy 5 or 10 years ago? That's not growth. That's currency erosion. And the government loves it because inflation quietly pays off their debt with your savings. See, if every Australian stopped contributing to super today, the government wouldn't just have a budget problem, the entire system would literally collapse. See, banks lose liquidity, bond demand evaporates, infrastructure financing will dry up, markets will shrink, the economy suffocates. This isn't about your retirement. Your super is a structural pillar of the Australian financial Ponzi scheme. It's not a gift to you, it's a tool for them. Some will also say to me, Tim, you're fear-mongering here, and I'm not interested. Well, fear-mongering is when someone actually makes things up. Everything I'm saying, this is straight from Treasury reports, super fund disclosure statements, investment mandates, APRA guidelines, and national debt breakdowns. If you can't handle the truth, that's fine with me, no problems. But don't confuse discomfort with misinformation. Your super isn't your money. It's money you used to own until the government locked it away, then spent it, then told you that they're keeping it safe. You save, they spend, you wait, they grow, you hope. They rely on your silence, on your ignorance. Now you know how the game works. Do with it what you will. Is there a solution? I get a lot of people always asking me, well, what's the solution? Well, of course there's solutions. Don't contribute to super. This is easy if you're self-employed. Look, I've paid myself super for years. If you work for someone else though, you can't opt out. It's getting paid by your employer whether you like it or not, because it's designed to prop up the economy. But please don't rely on it. If you rely on it, you're putting your trust in a bunch of people who, to be quite frank, don't give a hoot about you. Now, if that's not enough, you'll need to vote someone like me in maybe, who would turn the entire thing on its head by Christmas. But hey, forget all of that. Awareness is the real answer. Knowledge, understanding. I keep saying it. Learn, understand how the system works. Then you can't be duped by it. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Put a comment down below, helps the algorithm. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.